Hello comrades, and thank you for joining me today. And as the title of this video says, let's talk about Apex. Yo! But yeah, as always, if you want to skip the introduction or just go to the topics or see what we're gonna talk about, here's the list of subjects and their time frames. But first, two things that I want to say. First of all, I want to thank all of you who sent me like the most heartwarming messages after I released my previous Q&A where I announced that I left Ring Garage and joined a company called Apex. You sent me tons of comments, personal messages on Facebook, Instagram, and whatever. And by the way, for those who don't know, I was blocked on Facebook for a month. And today the ban is finally ending, so I can answer all those messages that I haven't. So in case you were thinking that I'm just some high-headed bastard, no, it wasn't the case. It's just Facebook had some terms and conditions. But yeah, you can check my Q&A about Facebook's double standards to know what and how and whatsoever. But yeah, huge thanks. I cannot emphasize enough how much it means to me. It's just amazing. I mean, I even had, like, apart from the best wishes with new venture, I even already have prepaid bookings for the cars that we still need to buy. And some cars we already have, but we're gonna get more into that. Second thing I want to tell you is, it's kind of fun and stupid thing. Well, first of all, fun thing, something to be proud of. The Bugatti Chiron video has hit 1 million views. Woohoo! But it was taken down by the Bugatti. Well, not exactly. The thing is, the Bugatti dealership in Moscow has invited me to make this video, and it turned out quite successful. And then Bugatti, the Bugatti brand, like Bugatti whatever, the one in France, which is like, but actually expensive Beetle. Yeah, sorry I said that. I'm kind of pissed, yeah. But, well, by the way, well, doesn't matter. They called the Bugatti dealership and say, what the hell were you thinking of inviting some kind of YouTuber making a video about our magnificent car without our consent? Take it down. And yeah, the dealership called me and they were very sad about it, and they said, whenever you need something and you want to make a video about another exclusive car that we have, please come along whenever you're in Moscow. And so I'm like, yeah, guys, I know it's not your fault, so I just taken the video down, but I have to share the situation with you because I have to be honest, so whatever. There are other hypercars in the world that we can review, right, comrades? But now, let's get to the main subject of this video, Apex. Well, the initial plan was me flying to Nürburgring on 16th of February, starting daily vlogs, telling you more about Apex and so on and so on. But then plans suddenly got changed. Don't worry, I still have my ticket. I'll be flying there next week and showing you this whole foundation process and building and purchasing of cars and whatever not. But last Sunday, me and Robert had this amazing idea to host a live video on Instagram, on his Instagram page, to show you the first preview of Apex, the building, let you ask us questions about the cars and so on and so on. So yeah, we kind of gave away some things, but we only had on average about 100 viewers on the live stream, so not everyone was able to see it because we announced it like, hour in advance. So today I'm gonna tell you more about the stuff that we already discussed and reveal some additional information. But first of all, who are we? Who is Robert? What are you talking about, Instagram? Okay, well, Robert is the initial founder and owner of Apex, and he's invited me to join him with my experience and knowledge about, well, this industry, Nürburgring, and so on, to create, I don't want to sound cliche, but something like a petrol hat heaven in the green hell. Well, yeah, and well, hopefully you will see today by the things I'm gonna tell you and in the coming weeks and months that we will do our best to make sure that it is going to happen. So first of all, make sure to give Robert a follow on Instagram because that will show you a lot of behind the scenes footage, and also that gives you the opportunity to ask him questions about Apex and about whatever, about his car collection, for example. Yeah, and also make sure to follow Apex itself. You can find the links in the video description. And now let's move on to Apex itself again. And let's start with the most important basic thing, the name. The thing is, we didn't have much time. I mean, we don't have much time at this point because we're still grounding the company. The season is already around the corner and we need to come up with a name to make announcements, to register the company and so on. So some things, first we were thinking something about Paddock Club because, well, the Formula 1 exclusivity Paddock Club kind of thing, but then we were thinking that maybe it would get us into legal trouble. Then we had thoughts about making Apex Club, but the problem is you would be associated too much probably with the club or something. And then Robert said, you know what, we just go for Apex. And that had my total approval. Because first of all, Apex is the word which is the same in pretty much every language that I know of. So if you would come up with some fancy name, like people in Russia or maybe even China would think like, oh, what is this? But I think Apex is pretty much the same everywhere. And I really think it's a good point. The second thing, I can pretty much certain say that it's very uncommon for a company, especially specializing in this field of business activities around the Nürburgring, to have this type of name. Just one word, nothing more. Because if you look at other companies, they all consist pretty much of either three-letter abbreviations, or they have a ring in their name, like Ring, Nürburgring, Nordschleife, whatever, and we don't have it because, I mean, even looking back at Ring Garage, for example, it was called Ring Garage, but you would see in the logo there would be like a small abbreviation of RGS, and when I joined the company, I asked them, what's the RGS? Because it's Ring Garage. Yeah. All the other companies have three-letter abbreviations, so we need to have that, we need to be like everyone. No. If you're starting a new company, you have, well, it's the worst thing that you can possibly do to be like everyone if you want to get noticed. So luckily I had my chance to play with the cards design and the design of the logo, so that's when we came up with this whole idea of crazy colors. But yeah, those are just my 2 cents on marketing perspective. You don't have to agree with that. Another fun detail is location of Apex, which is Hauptstrasse 25. You can look up the address in the video description and see it on Google Maps for yourself, which is, of course, yes, in the middle of Nürburg. In fact, it's only 1.2 kilometers officially on Google Maps from the Nordschleife tourist foreign entry and like 100 meters from the racetrack, like really track itself, which is freaking amazing. But the fun fact is, it sits on the corner of the main street. So basically, if you want to go to the track, you have to pass the apex, hit the apex in the corner, and it's just a fun detail. But yeah, location is amazing. And yeah, since there is no Google Street View in Germany, here's a picture for you, and you can see the castle and the main road. And I'm already really looking forward to waking up every morning, looking out the window and seeing the castle and hearing the cars roaring and everything. And this is something you'll be able to do as well, because we're gonna have a hotel, but I'm gonna talk more about it later. Okay, let's move on to business model of Apex. What are we going to do? What are we going to offer to clients? What are you be able to see as audience? Mainly those are going to be 3 things. First of all, cars, accommodation, and support. The first point, and probably the most important one, cars. Because you're here for cars on my channel, most of you are. I mean, maybe some of you are studying hotel management or something and were interested about hotel activities we had at Ring Garage and going to have at Apex, but I don't think that goes for the majority of you. And it's pretty much obvious. Come on, we're in the center of Nürburg, and we're gonna offer, of course, car rental. And what cars are we going to have? We already told some info in the live stream, and well, I'm gonna tell that more to you and probably reveal some extra details. So let's just go through the car list. So first of all, Toyota GT86, and simply because I had amazing experience at Ring Garage working with those cars, and most importantly, amazing review and feedback from the customers who were driving those cars. I mean, it's a manual, it's rear-wheel drive, so you can use it also for drift training, apart from having it on Nordschleife. It has only 200 horsepower, which is more than enough if you're a first-timer on a Nürburgring, and it handles amazing for being a car in this price range. It was called the best sports car of the year by many magazines and automotive media, and well, for that particular reason. But most importantly, and interesting for you as an audience as well, this car is not going to remain stock unlike we had at Ring Garage. We're gonna put some serious suspension on it, have an ECU tune, and have some other very cool features that are pretty uncommon in the car world. So yeah, we're gonna have this whole build process, also purchasing the car that you'll be able to see. And most importantly, you, of course, will be able to rent it and drive it on a Nürburgring or any other track in the neighborhood, like Spa or whatever. If you want to go crazy and go all the way to Ascari in Spain, we can make it happen. Let's move on to car number 2, which is a Renault Megane. And yeah, I can talk a long time about it, but it just comes down to the fact, again, a lot of clients who come drive drive on the Nürburgring really want that car because it's amazing for its characteristics, and that's why we simply have it. Small side note, we're going to Geneva Motor Show this year like I do every year. Well, it's going to be my 5th consecutive year this year, and of course I'm going to make a video about the cars that are going to be presented there, but I really hope that the new Megane RS is going to be presented. If that's going to be the fact, we of course more certainly going to purchase one. Another car which we don't have yet but are really thinking about getting one is a Seat Cupra 290, again because it's an amazing car. It's the fastest front-wheel driven car of the Nordschleife with automatic gearbox, because of course you have a Golf Club Sport S, but it's a manual, and manual cars are, well, of course, if you're a real petrol head or a real race car driver, you're gonna go for a manual race car or just a manual car, but it also offers a lot of challenges. But yeah, I'm not gonna go too much into that at this particular point. The next car, which is going to fill up a mid-level, is a BMW M2, most probably. To be honest, at this point, we're still doubting between the BMW 240 or BMW M2, but the thing is, the price difference is only 10,000 euros, and for 10,000 euros I'd rather invest money in a less depreciating model and more exciting one, M2. So most probably we're gonna have that, and we're gonna have a E90 M3 with the steering wheel on the right side. Well, doesn't this sound familiar? Yes, it's actually Daniel's old car that Robert has purchased and is getting it completely rebuilt, so it's also going to be heavily modified. It's gonna have some serious cage, serious suspension, and yeah, I think this is an exciting point for people from countries from like UK and Australia where the steering wheel is on the right side. So yeah, if you ever wanted to drive a car on the Nürburgring, which is exciting, and with the steering wheel on your side, on the right side, like not the right, the proper side, but yeah, let's skip that discussion. Well, you know, we're gonna have this car and it's gonna be freaking cool. And now let's move to the upper class of the cars that we're going to have, like the McLaren 570S that you have seen on live stream of Instagram that we hosted. Yes, this car is also going to be for rent, to drive on Nordschleife or to drive on public roads or the Grand Prix track. And well, what much can I say about it? Just a small side note, like I had with the Megane RS, we actually really want to buy something similar to the Porsche GT3 RS because, well, the thing is, from business perspective, a lot of people want that car just because it's a Porsche and Porsche is related to Nürburgring and so on and so on. But like with the Megane RS, we are actually thinking and hoping that Porsche is going to announce the new GT3 Mark II in Geneva Motor Show, and this is going to mean that the current GT3 RSs are probably going to drop slightly in value, but most importantly, it's not going to be the top range of Porsche brand anymore. So we're waiting for that, and who knows, we may announce at Geneva Motor Show, hey guys, we just bought or pre-ordered the Porsche GT3 RS or GT3 Mark II or something like that. Just a small detail that, yeah, we're gonna have something like that more certainly in the future. And also, like I said in the first video when I announced that I'll be joining Apex and we're gonna have some crazy near hypercar level cars, well, yes, we're gonna have McLaren 675 LT, LT Spider, and also R8 V10 manual from the first generation, which is probably not as exciting as an LT, but still a very cool car. And actually maybe even a Ferrari Speciale, but we are only going to rent those to drive on the public roads and maybe on the Grand Prix circuit, because Nordschleife, it's, although you can be the best driver in the world, but Nordschleife is just way too dangerous and sometimes irresponsible to, well, to drive on in some cases with those cars in particular. So yeah, and also offer some taxi laps on the days when it's possible. Definitely not during Touristfahren, so if you want to have a taxi passenger lap, you have to contact us first. We can tell you when it's possible during some track day or so on. But yeah, it excites me a lot. It excites me a lot, but this does not excite me as much as the final thing that I've saved as the best for the last is we're gonna have a shitbox. Yes, that you are going to be able to rent. And it's, to be honest, it's going to be a zero profit project because you just cannot make any profit on having a shitbox running on a Nürburgring. But I understand that most of you have expressed their concerns about having cars that are like too expensive. And I mean, GT86 being like an entry-level car on our price range, even that, although it's quite affordable, that can be still too expensive and unnecessary for many people who just want to drive on the Nürburgring and just enjoy themselves, like tick off the box of a bucket list. And yeah, Shitbox is a perfect way to do it. And for those of you who expressed their concerns about, whoa, is Shitbox not a bit dangerous for Nürburgring? Yeah, of course, if you buy just a Shitbox, and which is like way too rusty, of course it's freaking dangerous, but I'm gonna show you in a video that once we bought the car, we're gonna inspect the car on many points. We're gonna, most importantly, change the brake fluid, change brake pads, and some other points that are going to be necessary for that particular car. But yeah, for those who were afraid that we're gonna be way too capitalist, don't worry about it. And speaking of Shitbox and me becoming capitalist, because a lot of people also had a concern. They really loved the Shitbox I had at Ring Garage that Alex gave to me. Unfortunately, it has to stay there. And what is my next car going to be that I'm going to drive? Well, like Robert mentioned in the live stream, the 570S, and S probably stands for Shitbox, is going to be one of the cars that I'll be driving. I'm not going to drive it every day, but when there's like some cool event that is happening in Holland or Belgium or some other country nearby, or like away from Nürburgring, I'm probably gonna go there with the 570S so you can check out the car, meet me, and so on. But my daily car is going to be something else. It's not going to be a Shitbox. It's going to be something more modern, probably, because although I love Shitbox, but I miss air conditioning sometimes and power to overtake some really annoying trucks on the highway or whatever not. But I will still be driving Shitboxes. Of course, there'll be a lot of Shitbox content because we're gonna have a Shitbox that I'll need to take care of so you guys be able to rent it. But don't worry about that. The car that we are currently thinking of having as a daily for me is probably something in terms of Focus RS, because I kind of really do like this car. I driven it and I had a lot of fun passenger laps with me, also Nürburgring. You can check out the video in the description, by the way, that I instructed him while we were on the Nürburgring. So yeah, probably something like that, but it's not certain yet. But just some indication to answer your question so far as I'm able to answer it. I think that's it for now for the point number 1 of cars. Man, I think I could have filled like a complete vlog video with only talking about cars. But yeah, that's what you get when you're a petrol head, right? So yeah, let's move on to point number 2, which is accommodation. We're gonna have about 6 or 7 rooms in the first year. Of course, we have some amazing business perspectives to build something extra for 2018. But for now, 6 or 7 rooms, some very high standard rooms that gonna have high-speed Wi-Fi, because I hate slow internet. Air conditioning, TVs, own kitchen, whatever not, and also free drinks. I think that's fairly uncommon, and a lot of other things. The most important question now, because as you may know, we have to renovate this whole building, when is going to be available for bookings? Well, for bookings is going to be available in a couple of weeks, but the whole venue is going to be ready mid-May. That means just before the 24-hour race. So if you really want to book the 24-hour accommodation with us, it is possible already. And if I have to talk about prices, because it's a premium location, it's in the middle of Nürburg, okay? It's going to be a very high standard. So on average, the price on a casual day, Monday to Friday, is going to be around starting from 100 euros a night. And if we're talking about 24-hour race, it's going to be triple. And it's just a basic market price. So don't call me a capitalist. It's just the market price, okay? But yeah, that gives you a small indication of the prices that we're going to have, but you're gonna get a lot and a lot in return. And did I mention that we're gonna have our own lounge and club area with cool bar and music and amazing cars? No, didn't I? Well, that gives you some incentive to come. And sometimes some occasional cool cars, like prototypes and everything. But yeah, at this point, there is not much that I can tell you about accommodation, and then again, it's not my most interesting point. I'm very excited about it, but yeah, I'm a petrol head. I really like to talk more about cars than I do like to talk about hotel. But yeah, the bottom line is, you can book soon the rooms with us. You can stay there up from mid-May, and yeah, you can stay with me. You can wake up and check out the amazing castle view and actually walk to the track. You don't even have to drive there. And if you're gonna drive there, you'll be there in like, what, 15 seconds, even if you don't even exceed speed limits. But yeah, exciting. And the final point, number 3, which I mentioned in the introduction of the video, one of the main concepts of this whole business model structure is going to be support. And support can be distinguished in a lot of things. Support is way too broad, but I can narrow it down to having, most importantly, coachings and instructions available for the first comers on the Nürburgring. So whether you're gonna rent a car from us, or even if you come with your own car, you don't have to rent a car from us if you want instruction. And a good example of instruction you can already find on my channel actually. If you look up vlog number 13, it was the slowest lap I've ever done in the shitbox with me and Ray. So this is something that you're gonna get. And yes, many of you have actually asked the question, is Ray gonna come with us? Well, he actually never was employed by Ring Garage. He is independent, so yes, Ray is going to extend his services to Apex as well. So you can book him through us or just contact him directly, whatever you want. And also me, I'm going to do some instructions as well, because like you could see, unless you haven't clicked that video yet, the one with Focus RS and Shmi, where I instruct him to go somewhere. I really need to get back to Nürburgring and remember the corner names. No, I know them, I'm just kidding with you. But yeah, above that, we also gonna have like really advanced instructions with complete data logging and everything. So if you have like a GT3 race car, we have some instructors available that I don't want to disclose at this point, but you already know them, but I'm gonna go into detail about them in the next coming point. So whoever you are, whether you're a rookie with a shitbox, or if you're like a billionaire with your own fleet of hypercars and race cars and P1 GTR, you can come to us and we will make sure that you will get what you deserve, most importantly, what you need. Another point of support, when you think of support, it could be also mechanical support. And yes, although we're going to have a lift in our barn, boosted barn, how we already are starting to call it, we're not going to emphasize on mechanical support, because we may have a mechanic, our own mechanic, that we will allow to service your cars as well, but this is something scheduled at earliest for 2018. So although yes, most probably we're gonna offer that, but definitely not for now. But although we're gonna have a lift as of from June, so when you come and stay at our place, or when you have some trouble with your car, feel free to stop by and ask us kindly if you can get the car on a lift. Just some basic detail. And most importantly, Nürburgring is about racing. So yes, again, at some point we're gonna have not a complete race team, although maybe, but I think that's earliest for 2019 or something. But we already now know some really trustworthy people and trustworthy cars, trustworthy teams that we can forward you to, that we're going to work together with this year. So if you want to do racing, although we don't have some race cars at this point, although we really think of getting McLaren 570 GT4 and maybe something basic as well, but thinking too much, talking too much, not good, should keep some ideas for myself. But yeah, it's coming, but at this point we have some other things that we need to focus on. I think that's about it for business model, but I want to finish on a very exciting and a very positive note. If you are just as excited as I am and you cannot wait to come to Nürburgring, visit Apex, rent one of our cars, or stay in one of our rooms, or God knows what, we are going to have a newcomer discount, which is valid up until the 31st of March. So whatever you're gonna book, and although yes, the prices are not public yet, but are coming as soon as possible on our new website, but if you really want to do something, just send me an email and I'll tell you the price list, you get 10% discount. But if also you want to do something but you just don't know what, or you just want to give a gift to your friend, we are selling currently discount coupons for 10%. So you can just purchase something for 90 euros and you get 100 euros worth of service in return, whether it's a car rental, amazing shitbox. For 100 euros you'll be able to do about 3 laps with a shitbox, excluding lap tickets and fuel. Although saying too much again, should keep it for the future. But yeah, I think it's a very interesting thing to mention that I should be mentioning. That's it for now. Of course, there's going to be a lot more information available in the next coming days about Apex and my next adventures and so on and so on. But first of all, I want to thank you if you have stayed with me throughout this whole video. Thanks a lot. I know it's very tough to watch like what, probably half an hour video, if not more. I have no idea how long it's going to be at this point. But let's talk about some final things, what is going to happen next. So first of all, I'm flying there on the 16th of February. So the next coming days, I'll try to edit and release as much of the old vlogs as possible. I'm gonna skip a lot of those. Maybe I will edit them at some point later in the future. I don't know. I will definitely tell you what was the unpublished material. And after that, from 16th, I will start shooting and uploading them daily, but probably that means that the vlog that I will be shooting on 16th will be available around 19th or 20th of February, but still up to date, not like 6 months ago like we have now. Another thing, what I really find important, this whole YouTubing thing, is having a good relationship with you as an audience. And as you know, I try to answer pretty much every comment now. I must acknowledge that I will not have time for answering every single comment. So I will try like click hearts as much as possible, so you would see that I read it. And you gotta know I will read pretty much every comment and try to answer as much as possible. But if I haven't answered yours, don't be mad at me, just that I don't have time. But I'm gonna host a lot of live videos on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, where you all are going to be able to ask me and Robert and other members of Apex team questions about Apex or about our, well, even more personal things. So don't worry about that. There's going to be plenty of interaction. But I think I really have to mention the fact that there's going to be less interaction in the comment section from me. I guess that's it for now. As always, like, subscribe, share. Also subscribe to Apex channels that you can find in the description. Subscribe to Robert's Instagram. And for now, if you're ever coming to Nürburgring, make sure not to miss the Apex.